した曲があります。日本の曲です。5つの赤い風船の遠い世界の曲。
リクエストも来てます。銀河系の星尾くんは60代男性。それからひげじいさんは栃木県から20代東北出身者で酒を飲んで酔いが回ってくるとなぜか最後は遠い世界に旅立つっていうなってました。
これはでも
ああ、そうですね。これは分かりやすい。
Timothy Glotch and his team was part of that as well. That also had our Canadian partner as part of it. The dust accelerator that I mentioned, that was built with our partnership with Germany. So we can see an awful lot of the international flavor coming through as we move forward with first Lunar Science Institute and in Serbia. So now I'd like to mention the Resource Prospector mission for just a second. Serbia has several people in and among our teams that are actively engaged in this. And Terry Fong, who's here in the room today from NASA Ames, is the deputy manager of the rover part of this NASA mission. This is a mission for development with the idea of developing technology that's generally applicable across many different target bodies, but ostensibly we don't go to the moon. And the proposed mission demonstrates in situ resource utilization. In other words, you would collect and use the materials that you find on the body. And various critical mission aspects are being developed at NASA Ames. It has a lunar rover carrying the regolith and environment, science, and oxygen, and lunar volatile extraction payload. Oh gosh, that's the acronym. Name is called Resolve. Okay, and preliminary testing has been conducted on Mauna Kea in Hawaii, one of my favorite places, in conjunction with the Pisces group there. Anyway, Serbia is facilitating the site selection and analysis activities for this mission, and a number of our investigators are involved. And we're very excited. We hope that this mission goes forward. Okay, there are a lot of words on this page. Main point is I wanted to tell you that our central office does a whole lot more than just send out the money. Our institutes, each one of the teams are funded for 5 years, which give them long-term stability, and that's great for them. But what we also try to do is make sure that we at the central office take care of the big problems. Anything that would slow them down and take them away from their research, we would like to handle at the central office. And then beyond that, the actual running of the institute, we do an awful lot of community engagement. Our job was to bring together the scientific and the exploration community. And again, those are groups that don't often mingle, but to show them that they had a lot in common and they had things that they needed to learn from each other. And so to do that, we have a lot of various activities here.
All right, so we have a number of things that we're doing to keep ourselves busy. We have the Exploration Science Forum. You're going to be hearing more about that, but that is our annual conference that we have at NASA Ames, where we have people from around the world gathering and talking about lunar planetary science and exploration technologies. We also help coordinate a European conference, the European Lunar Symposium, with our partners that we have in Europe. In terms of citizen science, we've been working successfully. We've been involved with the LCROSS and LADI missions, involving amateur astronomers and citizen science in actually making observations that contribute to the science of the mission. For instance, on the LADI mission, we had a number of amateur astronomers observing the moon during course of the LADEE mission. As LADEE is flying around studying the atmosphere of the moon, we were looking at meteoroid impacts on the surface of the moon, seeing how those meteoroid impacts would correlate to changes in the structure and composition of the lunar atmosphere. We're working on opportunities for amateur astronomers to actually be measuring the orbits, measuring the positions and changes in the orbits of these near asteroids. That's very important because they don't feel constrained to be limited just by Kepler's laws of motion. That makes them tricky. We're working with the SETI Institute just down the road here in a program where people have very simple security cameras pointed up at the sky. They're allowing them to record meteors as they come in. And if you get enough people from slightly different sites recording that meteor, not only do you see its three-dimensional path coming down through the atmosphere, you can calculate what its orbit was before it encountered the Earth. And that way we're discovering new meteor streams, comets as yet undiscovered, but whose orbits intersect those of the Earth. And we're working with the NASA Tournament Lab and Top Coder program to develop improved algorithms for integration of data from spacecraft. Recently we've been working with LRO, we're looking at some other options, but integration of that data into our lunar mapping and modeling portal, which is now branching out into other planetary bodies too. Let's go to the next slide. A fun event that we have that I would like to invite you to is the International Observe the Moon Night. We've been doing this every year for a number of years now. We get people showing up at locations around the world. Here you can see Google Maps is actually showing us right now where people are signing up to have events. Our event this year is going to be on September 19th, 2015. And people will gather at these locations all around the world. We will be streaming out talks to these locations, and people gather with local amateur astronomers to see the moon. It's really an exciting thing to do. We have a lot of classroom visits, workshops, public lectures. A lot of these are streamed out to remote locations around the world. We've been working with Navajo Technical University on a number of projects. They're doing some really neat work in 3D printing. Exploration Uplink, Yvonne talked about our robot rovers out in our lunar simulant test bed. And also in our simulant test bed, we're going to be working this spring with some students who are working with the SwampWorks at KSC, Kennedy Space Center, on a payload, a proposed payload for Google Lunar X Prize mission. So they'll be actually doing some testing in our simulant test bed there.